Now let's take out the fun part out of this course and talk about music theory. Not really. Well, music theory can be fun, and music theory, it's actually a language that we musicians spoke to each other, like the language that you're speaking. If you get good enough at it, you don't think about it, you just speak it. So that's why it's important to learn music theory, and also it will help you develop and learn stuff about songs and about what you're actually doing on the bass. So it's important to have the basic knowledge of music theory. And it all starts with notes. Note comes from vibrations, and our brains interpret that into a pitch. If I pluck this string, it vibrates up and down, and our brains can interpret that into a pitch or into a note. In modern music or in Western music, there are 12 notes, and all of them are equally away from each other. And the distance between notes, it's actually called a half step or a semitone. And on the bass, it's actually 1 fret. So 1 fret on the fingerboard, it's a semitone. 2 semitones next to each other are actually a whole step or a tone. And before we go any further, we should start talking about notes on the bass. So we should start learning the fingerboard. So if you have a 4-string bass, you don't have this string, the low B. And we start with E, then we have F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and from here it's the same thing like before. E, F, F sharp, G, and so on. So after the 12th fret, things are gonna start repeating. Now we are gonna go to the A string, and we'll have like this: A, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So after the 12th fret, everything is the same, but it's an octave higher. The D string: D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. After the 12th fret, again we are repeating. And we go to the G string now. So it's G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. And if you have a 5-string, let's do the 5-string also. We have B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. You'll notice that I used a lot of sharps. This in between notes, like between A and B, we have an A sharp, or this can also be B flat. But depends on what key are we in, and that's what we are gonna do next. But if you want an example with flats, we can do that now with E, F, G flat, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C, D flat, D, E flat, and E. When we are gonna talk about keys, and that's what's happening next, I'm gonna tell you about why we use sometimes a sharp and why we use sometimes a flat. A key, and don't confuse it with a piano key or a keyboard key, is a main concept or a main core in a song. Most of the songs are made using only one key. In a key, we usually use 7 out of those 12 notes, and we arrange them in a way that becomes a song. So it's a group of pitches that come together in a song. Mainly, there are 2 types of keys that we use: major and minor. Major may be interpreted as being happy, and minor might be interpreted as being sad. If we put all the 7 notes that we use in a key together, we will end up having a scale. The scales that we use are usually major or minor, but not all the time. If we take, for example, blues, the scales that are used to improvise over blues are blues scales or pentatonic scale. And those are a bit different, but we are not going to talk about those right now because our main concern is learning major scales and minor scales. So let me show you how to play a major scale first. We'll start with the most common, the C major scale. And in C major scale, we have the following: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The C is repeating. So this means this is an interval, and it's called an octave because it's the same note an octave higher. The first note in the scale, it's also called the root, and it's the base of the scale. So it's the most important note in the scale. And every relationship between any of the notes are called intervals. If I go from C to D, it's a second. If I go from C to E, it's a third. From C to F, it's a fourth. From C to G, it's a fifth. From C to A, it's a sixth. From C to B, it's a seventh. And from C to C, it's an octave. If you learn the shape of this major scale, you can play any scale on the bass, any major scale on the bass. Doesn't matter what notes are in it, because you'll know the shape and then you can play the scale. Like, for example, let's take G, and let's assume I don't know the notes in G. I'll start from G because that's the basic thing that you have to know, the root. And I will play this G major scale. Even if you don't know the notes inside G major, you can still play it by applying the C major scale shape to another note. So any scale you want to play, if I want to play B, it's the same shape. So first you need to learn the shape. Now let's try and play a minor key. And the most common minor key, or the easiest to learn, it's A minor. And it goes like this: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And again we have an octave here. So if you start from A and end up to A by using this shape, you'll have a minor scale. And now we should do some exercises. Now let's talk a bit about why some notes are sharp and some notes are flat. Why do we use sometimes flat and sometimes sharp? And let's take, for example, the G major scale. And we have the following: G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Why do we use F sharp instead of G flat? Because when you play a scale, it's best to have all the notes inside it, because that's easier to communicate with others. If we take something with more sharps, let's say A, and we have A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. If we would have had flats instead of sharps, then it will be all a mess, because we would have had A, B, D flat, D, E, G flat, A flat, A. There's too many notes repeating, so that's why we use sharps or flats sometimes instead of using both or repeating notes. Now we will go back a bit to the concept of keys. I told you what a scale is, but still, when you're listening to a song, you're not hearing actually a scale. You're hearing some chords and a melody, and what's up with that? Why aren't people playing scales? A key is actually based on chords, so each degree of the scale has a chord to it. Chords are a group of 3 or more sounds put together. And in modern music, we usually create chords by stacking up thirds. So, let's take for example a C major chord. It's made out of C, E, and G. From C to E, we have a third. From E to G, we have another third. So, and if we take a minor chord, we'll have, let's take A minor because it's the easiest. It's actually A, C, and E. So from A to C, we have a third, and from C to E, we have another third. And let's go back again to keys. So, a key, it's actually formed out of chords. And if we take each degree of the key, we'll have different chords. And let's talk about C major key again. If we take the first chord of the C major key, that will be C major. If we take the second chord of the key, that will be D minor. The third one will be E minor. The fourth one will be F major. The fifth one will be G major. The sixth one will be A minor. And the seventh one will be B minor. But if we play B minor, this note is not actually in C major scale. So the B will actually be diminished. So it's a different type of chord. Like C major is made out of a major third and a minor third. A minor, it's made out of a minor third and a major third. And B diminished will be a minor third and another minor third. It sounds a bit cringy because when you play it, you tend to resolve it. Like when you hear it, it calls you home. And let's do that again. So, C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C major. If we are gonna take any of these chords and put them into an order, we'll end up with having a song. Let's take, for example, C major, A minor, F major, G major. This is really common in pop songs. So 1, 6, 4, 5. Now it's time for some homework. We did some exercises before using the C major scale and the A minor scale. So you have to do those exercises again by using the following: G major scale, D major scale, F major scale, B flat major scale, E minor scale, B minor scale, D minor scale, and A minor scale.